Hello there, welcome to another episode of Gina Cooks. Today I'll be showing you how to make two simple recipes. We'll be making a carrot cake and coconut candy cookies. Contrary to popular belief, baking is easy and I'll show you how. So we'll start by preheating our oven to 400 degrees. First of all, we'll be baking a carrot cake. So we'll start by using our flour, some sugar, some eggs, and some raisins or sultanas, whichever one you have, and baking soda and some baking powder and vanilla extract or vanilla essence, whichever one you have. They both do the same job. So you measure 1 full cup, level cup of sugar, not more than 1 cup, and you measure 1 cup of vegetable oil. It's better to use vegetable oil for this recipe because it doesn't smell, it doesn't have an after smell. So now we're going to whisk our sugar and our oil together. With the oil and the sugar. And now we're adding a teaspoon of vanilla. If you don't have a whisk, it doesn't matter, you can just turn it with the turning stick. And now we're going to add our eggs. So what I do is I break 1 egg at a time in the you can see the mixture is turning quite pale. Like a mousse. A small cup of raisins, or you can use a handful. You can just put a handful depending on how much or how little you want. But I just love raisins. And you mix that together. And now we're gonna mix our dry ingredients. First, we start with the flour. We need 2.5 cups of flour. Please always make sure it's a level cup. You don't want it to be over. Teaspoons of bicarbonate soda, otherwise known as baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. The thing with baking soda is that once it comes in contact with the liquid, it starts to rise immediately, and we need this cake to be rise immediately. So now we're going to sieve it through. It's already sieved, but I just like to sieve my cake, my flour. Right. And you continue mixing slowly. Or if you have a cake mixer at home, fine. Now you put 2 cups of carrots in the cake. You need to turn this quickly because we already have our baking powder inside, so it started to act. Some people do this recipe differently. Some people just mix everything up in one go and you know the cake is ready. It's just really easy. It takes 10 minutes max to mix and prepare it. And you have a delicious tasting cake in 40 minutes. Now we need to get our baking pan and spray oil. If you don't have spray oil, you can use butter or you can use any oil. But it's really cool, the spray oil thing. So, make sure you oil your pan properly. You can use any type of pan. But I saw this beautiful pan one day, I just fell in love with it. Remember your oven is heating up, so you're fine. I've had people tell me that every time they bake their cake collapses. The reason is because they don't get their oven hot enough. So if you put your cake in a cold oven, it collapses. That's how it works. So now we're going to put our cake in the top shelf of the already hot oven. I have a timer here. I'm going to set it to 40 minutes. I'll clear my table. We're going on a break. When we come back, I'll tell you how to make the coconut candy cookie. Next, we're going to focus on the coconut candy cookie. Remember when we were little, when we used to make coconut candy in our homes? So this is just like that, but this is like an adult version. What I'm making basically, it's a cookie. A cookie is a cross between a biscuit and a cake, so it has to be soft. And it's pretty easy. Half a cup of sugar, and I add some oil. I like to use oil for my baking most times because it's more moist. It makes it more moist than butter. So half a cup of vegetable oil and about a small cupful of vanilla essence. Not a lot, just mix it. Just mix. You can mix it as you like, you know, whichever direction suits you. Just mix until the oil and the sugar are incorporated. Then you grab an egg. I'm only using one egg for this recipe. Since the cookie is it's a bit tougher than the cake, you need only one egg. You mix until it's creamy. This recipe requires only baking soda, so we'll put half a teaspoon of baking soda. I'm putting more than 1 1/4 cups of flour. And you mix. I usually put my flour before I put my coconut, my candied coconut, like some people will call it. See, it's all binding together. At this point, you put 1 tablespoon of water. When I was developing this recipe, I used to put 2 eggs, but I just found that water is actually a better binder and you don't want it to be too eggy. So you just put your coconut, about 1 full cup of coconut, and you mix. This batter actually makes about 12 cookies. Just keep turning until the coconut sticks to the batter. Now, I already have a line baking sheet and we're going to start molding the cookies. What you need is a small teaspoon. You don't need more than a teaspoon because the baking soda actually makes it triple in size. So you want to measure it in small drops. So a teaspoon is recommended as opposed to a big spoon. And yeah, all done. And now I think my cake is about ready. Be careful because at this point it's going to We need to quickly put our cookies in the oven. We put it on a high shelf. So now we're going to turn our cake upside down. Wow. Wow, look at that. That's brilliant. Are about done. All you need is 8 minutes. Wow, look at that. You know your cookies are when it's firm at the edges and soft in the middle. It's a cross between a biscuit and a cake. And then you put the cookies on a cooling rack, which have lined underneath with some paper, because we're about to design the cookies. I already have a mix made with icing sugar and some chocolate mix. You can use any hot chocolate mix you have in the house. Just mix it with some icing sugar and design. But you must let your cookie cool completely before you do this, else the icing sugar will not melt, will not stay on it. Just drizzle completely. Make sure you put paper underneath. So now that my cookies are completely dry and the icing is set in, I'm going to put them in my jar. This cookie can store up to 2 weeks, so you can make it ahead of time for parties or just to keep in your pantry. Set it in an airtight jar. So now, for the taste test, I'll try a piece. Can you see how moist it is? And all the carrots and the raisins and the sultanas. This is so good. I can even tell before I put it in my mouth. This is so yummy. It's really good. And the carrot, the liquid from the carrot actually makes it really moist. And the vegetable oil as well. That's why I prefer it to butter. Really good. And that's how you make a simple carrot cake and a coconut candy cookie. So join us again next week for more exciting recipes. Bye bye!